Good evening, everybody. Happy Sunday. Hopefully there's some of you there. With any luck. Oh, it's very quiet. I can't see anybody. Oh, no, there's 3 people. Hello, 3 people. Won't tell me who you are. Eileen, hello. Chelsea's here. Hi, Chelsea. Hope you're not feeling too poorly. Pugsley is fine. He's somewhere around the house. He was given a bone about 20 minutes ago, so I think he's quite happy. Hi, Gavin. Hi, Pip. Winner, winner. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. It's me. Hello, everybody. Hello, George. Yes, I am one person. Hello. I'm your one person. Hi, Laura. Hello, everybody. Hi, Mia. Hi, Pat. Oh, 22 people already. This is exciting. Hi, Marie. Hello, Susie Nightingale. The woman of the hour. Congratulations. Thank you, Chelsea. I'm taking that congratulations. It could have been aimed at Susie, but I'm taking it. Congratulations to Susie. We will come on to that. We'll come on to all the Jasmine business very shortly. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Kirsten. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I will be bringing out the award to show you. Yes, it's very exciting. So I did win an award. I will grab it off my shelf. It's already on my shelf. Here we go. This is Jasmine Award number 6. This was for my article I wrote about a material called cashmeran, which is used quite extensively in fragrances. If you joined us for Solar, we talked about cashmeran quite a bit. I think we also talked about it in Fruity. So yeah, I wrote a guide for that on my blog and I won Best Practical Guide. There you go. That's Jasmine number 6. Interestingly, she's quite different this year because these are my other Jasmines. I don't have the other 5. I have 4 because I share one with my good friend Nick Gilbert for our podcast. And seeing as I have so many, I thought I'd let him have that one. So this is what I've got previously. She's very much upright. This time she's doing some yoga. She's very flexible this time. Very flexible. So, and yes, it is Lalique. Yeah, they're all Lalique. And amazingly, I have broken none of them, which I just think is just out of this world. So yes, there you go. Jasmine Award number 6. But we have to talk about Susie Nightingale, who won not 1, but 2, but technically 3 Jasmine Awards for her work, which I think is sweeping the board. So congratulations to Susie. I can't think of anybody who deserves that more because she is a great writer, an even better writer than I am. Are they all women? Yes. It would be nice to have a dude Jasmine Award. No one understands the struggle, Laura. That's the thing. I have 6 awards. It's actually a burden at this point. She has been working on her course, Susie, absolutely. We did say that we were going to try and recreate this pose, but realised that neither of us actually could. So, there you go. Just going to sit here. I would open a glass of champagne, but if I think I drink anything more in the next like 24 hours after this week, I don't think I could drink anymore, to be honest. Amazing. Congratulations to Susie. Make sure everyone's congratulating Susie because she is amazing. Okay. Thank you. Should I just sit here with this? Just on my shoulder because I might break it. I'm going to put it back on the shelf. So there we go. I don't really know how to organise them because she is different. She kind of ruined the lineup a little bit. So I'm just kind of randomly doing it at the moment. Yes, Susie, really impressive. Susie's catching me up, I think. How many is it now, Susie? It's got to be at least 4, surely. You must be at 4 or 5. So, we're here to do Fougere. Finish off Fougere. We're a little bit late this week because I was going to the Swanky Awards and doing Swanky Swank before. No, I don't believe that, Susie. You can't have only had 1. You must have 100. Must do. Susie is amazing. Oh, and a perfumed plume. Well done. Amazing work. So we're going to finish off our Fougere, 30 minutes, etc, etc, blah, blah, blah. I'll lie about how long this will take. There's no right or wrong. That bit is true. You can say what you like about the fragrances. Absolutely no right or wrong. Best questions or comments get a box. I've got 5 to give away of October's box. And yeah, there's just 2 announcements I really wanted to do. One was a little get well soon for Chelsea, because she said she wasn't feeling very well. So if everyone can send get well wishes to Chelsea. I would like also a national round of applause for Susie Nightingale. I feel like if we could all just give her a little virtual one, or a little emoji round of applause for Susie, please. Just because she's amazing, for all her work at the Perfume Society, but also because she contributes so much to the group and to the live. So lots of rounds of applause for Susie, please. I would like to see those coming up in the chat, and lots of get wells for Chelsea. Thank you very much. So, whilst you're doing all of that, the first half of the box was a showcase of classic Fougeres, really just to show you the cornerstones of the genre. So we had the original Fougere, and we had more barbershop takes on it, but also that more modern, transparent, fresh style we see today. So it's kind of like a journey of the Fougere from like start to where we are today, with kind of the key pillars in between. This half shows a few more interesting twists on Fougere and how it can be pulled into different directions. We've waited a few extra days, so I'm just going to jump right in with this one. So we're going to head straight for Fragrance E. So if you could get your samples out of Fragrance E, please. Thank you very much. And thank you very much for all the round of applause for Susie and all of the get wells for Chelsea. I will obviously be giving away the boxes as we go, and you just need to DM Escentual if you win one. Okay, I'm spraying E. I'm spraying E. I'm having a nice generous spray of E. This is where we test whether I've got the right box out. I have. Absolutely have. So what do we think of E? I think this one was a mixed bag of comments in the group, I seem to remember. So why did we pick E, Fragrance E? Well, we picked E because we like to show some newness when we can, and this fragrance launched earlier this summer, so it's good to have some newness. It's billed as an aromatic citrus, but it's really a Fougere. And what's interesting here is how the lavender, which is obviously the core of the Fougere, is pulled into freshness, with sparkling citrus as the focus and a kind of green, leafy and herbaceous contrast. The texture is also very creamy smooth, and I think it's quite fascinating because there's a lot going on that's very kind of contrasting and different, but works well together. Kirsten says it smells so lovely on a card, but the skin doesn't do it justice, sadly. Amy says herby delight, like a fragrant green salad. I really like that description, Amy. Susie says, must also mention Thomas should have got another award for best dress. Oh, shush. Oh, shush, you. Do go on. Laura says it was not for her. Adele says orange and minty. Smells like lockets, Mia says. Lisa says it's like fresh lemon rind with a lot of lovely dry lavender. Really interesting descriptions here. Gavin got lemon meringue pie. So for me, it starts with very tart, shimmering bergamot. It's quite juicy, it's sharp and it's biting, but it's got a very nice green facet to it. There's lots of like green leaves filled with water underneath, but also a dry herbaceous undertone. It's a little bit of dryness there, which I quite like. I like there's some like dry leaves in that mixture of sort of water-filled green leaves. George is saying fresh crushed mint leaves and frozen mandarin. That's a really nice description. Lavender is there. It's not very sweet. It's actually more dry. Sorry, I just cut out there for a second. I was saying there's lavender's there, but it's not so sweet. It's more dry and herbal. And the base is very creamy. It's like creamy base of sandalwood and moss with slight leather accents to it. Pip says it's astringent, also getting cut grass. Sean says she over time had a warmth of it that was less common in the other Fougeres. Susie says so many contrasts. Yeah. Fizzy and tart, says Aline, it's upbeat. Interesting. Some real mixed thoughts there about this one. I think what this one shows, and I did get it down. I kind of panicked that I didn't actually have the bottle on the table. I do, I've counted. I've got all 4. It's just such a bright, light, airy, fresh take on a Fougere, I think. And George saying shaving cream. I really like that, George, because I do get that there's kind of that, still that little bit of a barbershop element in there, but it is not so sort of powdery and plush. It's absolutely, totally a shaving cream vibe. Mia says I'm liking it more now I'm testing company. It's funny how that happens. Yeah, it's interesting. So let's just tell you what this one is. So this lovely green, fresh, minty, herbal, contrasting fougere is actually Reverie de Bergamote by Miller Harris. This is an eau de parfum. It came out this year. It's by a perfumer called Emily Bougie, who seems to be doing their newer work. It is £85 for a 50ml eau de parfum. And it's inspired by lazy Sunday mornings, and it's kind of meant to be this calming, comforting fragrance. It was the first Miller Harris launch in about 18 months. They had been launching things very, very rapidly, but actually this one there was quite a long break before this one came out. I think it's just beautifully done. I think it's a very gentlest take on the fougere with a lovely range of textures and vibes. It's creamy, but also sharp and biting. It's fresh and sparkling, but also warm and comforting. I think it's a really unique piece of work. So I think the name is a little bit misleading because you think it's going to be all about bergamot. In the opening, it does actually have a really beautiful bergamot note, but it's not about bergamot in the same way that, say, the Bergamotto di Calabria from Acqua di Parma is, which is really an essay in how does bergamot smell. There's so much more going on. It is an aromatic citrus. I'm going to spray it in the air because, oh, it's just so good. Makes me happy. And the bottle is gorgeous, absolutely, I agree, Adele, because it's bright yellow. It's really sunny. I think this works beautifully on anyone who wants to wear it, masculine, feminine, whatever. I don't think it's particularly gendered in any way, but obviously how it works on your skin, we've seen lots of people have kind of had very different opinions on it. It's very different to the Miller Harris we've had before, but I thought it was very photorealistic as these. So yeah, I mean, they're kind of under a new guise now. I think they've changed ownership over the pandemic, so I think that's hence why there's been a bit of a break. And so I think they're going off in a different direction, but they are still doing interesting things. The new oud that they've done is also very, very interesting, but we won't talk about that now. Hi, Ben, how are you? What else have we got saying about this? How unisex do we find it? I find it quite unisex. I think it's really gentlest. Susie wasn't keen on this, but does love their new Eau de Clat. That Eau de Clat's really fascinating. So surprised because I normally love Miller Harris and I do not love this at all. I guess they don't, not everything they're going to make is going to resonate with you, I think. That's fine. It's normal. Gorgeous packaging, yeah. So if this was a fabric, what fabric would it be? And then we will move on to F, because that's the letter that comes after E. Sian loves this one. Best lasting citrus that she's found. Loves it. Interesting. Yeah, that lovely bergamot note does last. I like having this one up on my shelf actually because it is just so, sits up there nicely, and I've got a nice little sunny little block of yellow behind me. So, ooh, linen, interesting. A bath mat. Ooh, that's kind of soaked all the shower gels and smells of the bathroom in, like the nice bathroom smells. Like it's a bathroom where you just do the washing bit and not the, bit that you don't want to talk about. Soft suede. Susie says she likes the way that Miller Harris do many different styles of fragrances, different moods each time, and so well done, yes. Hi Nafia, long time no see. How are you? Cotton, check flannel shirt. If you're just joining us, we revealed that fragrance E is Reverie de Bergamote by Miller Harris. Very nice aromatic citrus that goes quite creamy, mossy, leathery, a little bit barbershop-y. Beautiful fragrance, really nice. One of those bright yellow raincoats. Yeah, like one of those nice, like Jules, is it Jules that do them when they're like blue and white stripes on the inside? Fun fact, Pugsley has one of those. He has a yellow raincoat because he's a dog with 2 gay parents, so obviously he gets dressed up. Thick type of cotton used for embroidery, sunflower yellow linen. Perfect. Fluffy hotel towels. Love that. I love that. Fluffy hotel towels. That resonates with me, Kirsten. You have a box. Fluffy hotel towels is a really lovely way of describing this. So please, have a box. DM Escentual, etc, etc. Right, let's move on to F. So I think F was a little bit more popular. I would say F was probably the more popular one from this half. Does everybody agree? Sorry, I am not showing the front of the sample. There you go. F. Would you agree? Would you agree? Would you disagree? It seemed more popular. I think there was quite a cohort of people who quite liked this one. Yes, Nafia was also a finalist at the Jasmine Awards this year for her fantastic article. Amy says, F smells like amaretti. Lovely powdery almond energy. Really into it. Interesting. Lisa loved it too. See, I thought it was more popular. So this is a modern Fougere. It has more of a gourmand twist to it, I would say. So by that, I mean it's a little bit more edible, a little bit more sweet. So remember when we talked about Fougeres the first time at the beginning, we talked about how the material coumarin is a real signature material in Fougere and that it's derived from tonka beans. Well, this kind of throws the whole bean in. So you'll get more of a tonka effect, more of the roasted marzipan, almond, vanilla feel than just the kind of coumarin side. Blending that with kind of a malted, toasted lavender, kind of like a malted sugar effect, kind of caramelly. It's got a lovely powdery effect to it as well, which I really love. Kirsten says she loves it, needs it, wants to hug it and squeeze it and call it George. Oh, interesting. George Yang, are you hearing that? People want to name fragrances after you. So, what does it smell like? Well, I get a touch of minty freshness, the coolness of spice, lavender pushed to its more menthol facets, but also with that sweet malted take on lavender as toasted sugar. It's definitely a caramel vibe to it. Caramel infused with lavender petals. There's vanilla and tonka bean adding to that toasted effect in the base, and obviously the tonka's bringing that marzipan almond thing. It's gourmand, it's amber, it's powder, it's a little bit more leathery. It feels very current, very much like a modern masculine, but the powdery side of it and the fresh spice, fresh minty aspect of it makes it feel a little bit kind of genderless to me. I think it's really interesting. Pat says it smells like a French patisserie. Lovely. Susie wondered if it was YSL. Laura says, I'm intrigued to learn about F as I got a note of angel or alien, which I dislike, so I'd love to know what this is. F is perfect for this colder season. I agree. Gavin says it's macarons and toasted marshmallow. You're making me hungry. You are making me hungry. So he's a friend and I couldn't agree if it's masculine or feminine. Yeah, I think it really straddles the lines. I think it's a really interesting fragrance, this one. So, on to the reveal. Ba-ba-ba-da. This one is Le Mal, Le Parfum, Eau de Parfum Intense by Jean-Paul Gaultier. This was created by perfumers Quentin Bisch and Natalie Gracia Fetto in 2020. It's £48 for a 75ml Eau de Parfum. Intense, and it is a flanker to Le Mal, which we've already had in the box. So I thought I'd try and trick you all, see if you could guess this. I think a few people did spot that there were two Le Mals in here. This was launched in 2020, which was obviously last year, to celebrate the 25th anniversary of Le Mal. And I see it as there's a lot of ways of saying Le Mal. I see it as a Le Mal of the modern era. It's a bit of a tongue twister. If Le Mal had been created in 2020, this is what it would smell like. So it caters to more modern tastes. So it's less barbershop and more powdery gourmand, which is in line with popular scents such as 1 Million by Paco Rabanne, etc. Men do tend to be going more along this kind of amber route in their fragrances. So it's kind of a gourmand take on a Fougere, and it's a real surprise. I think it's really, really nicely done. I love the powdery effect in there. I love this kind of gourmand almond amber thing, and how the kind of the freshness of the mintiness is kind of almost replaced by spice, and it's a coolness of spice at the beginning. So there you go, Le Mal, Le Parfum. And his butt is definitely getting bigger. They are definitely, I don't think his butt was ever this big. I think this bottle is changing in line with male beauty standards. So it's less about the abs and the pecs now, and it's all about the thighs and the butt. You know, about being thick and juicy. I think that's what's happening. That's my theory anyway. I don't remember him having such a big butt. Right, catching up on comments. Any comparison of Le Mal physiques we talked about last time? Yeah, we did talk about that a lot. I think we spent a lot of time talking about Le Mal's bulge, to be fair. But what can you expect from us? Quentin Bisch is such a talented perfumer. Yeah, I love that they use Quentin Bisch for this, because it's kind of almost like he's almost like a modern Francis Kurkdjian. Not that Francis Kurkdjian is kind of aged out of the industry, but Francis Kurkdjian was a renegade when he started because Le Mal was his first fragrance, and Quentin Bisch is kind of making such a name for himself in the way that Francis Kurkdjian was. So I think he's going to be looked back upon as one of the greats. Susie says, reminder of Libra by YSL. Laura got a note of Le Mal but was wrong. Assumed she was wrong, it couldn't be. It was already had Le Mal. I'm a cunning trickster. I am. Have an apology box. Laura, here is a box because I've tricked you. Enjoy it. DM Escentual, blah, blah, blah. Nita, the ones that you've missed, if you're just talking about this box, the first one was E, which was the Reverie de Bergamot, and we've just revealed, by Miller Harris, and we've just revealed F, which is Le Mal Le Parfum by Jean-Paul Gaultier. So no more have been revealed yet. Mia would like it on her fiancé. Powder dry down reminds me of growing up as my mum was having babies and there was always talc in the air, says Lisa. Oh, that's cute. Sarah says her faves. Quentin again. There's always a bish in a box. There's always a bish in the box. Not always, but we try to get a bish in the box if we can. I think it's not that we're trying to put bishes in the box. It's more that Quentin Bish is creating some of the most interesting modern mainstream perfumery now. He's even done some niche stuff as well, but he's one of the good ones, one of the greats. Sorry, I'm scrolling through all these comments. Bring back the pecs. No treble or bass. Exactly, Hester. Hester, that's funny. You made me laugh. Have a box. I think I've given away 3 boxes. Yeah, I think 3. Have a box, Hester. That was funny. Okay, if he was a male model, who would he be? Who would he be? Good question. It's going to be somebody with a big butt. Three boxes. I've got 2 more to give away. I'm getting excited. I'm giving them all away quickly. Yes, Le Mal Le Parfum. Really like that. Who would he be if he was a male model? That's my question. There was a guy that they used in the ads for one of the Le Mal fragrances. He's a French guy. I can't remember his name, but it would be him. I feel like it's Francois something. I don't know. I'll update you. Everyone's like they can't think of any male models. Henry Cavill. I think Henry Cavill could fit because he's got the junk in the trunk, hasn't he? So, who knows? Right, shall we move on to G? I'm conscious I don't want to take up too much of your Sunday evenings because we all have to go back to work tomorrow. Let's move on to G. G. I think G was another polarising one. What do you think? It's spray. So this is fragrance G. No, I aimed the spray completely in the wrong direction. Bish in a box is pretty pleasing. The Quentin box. We'd do the Bish box, yeah. Seriously, we will do the Bish box. It will make sense to nobody other than the 50 people that have joined us live. Anna says her 3-year-old called the Smelly Wedgie. Do you want to elaborate on that, Anna? Early hit of cough syrup. Joy says it's her favourite. Aline says medicinal. I can't work out that top note. There's something anise, kind of like an anise licorice thing in the top note, I think, that's making that kind of the medicinal thing. George says wearing G a lot in the summer. Yeah, I agree, Pip. I'd rather be doing this than watching Antique Roadshow. I agree. Amy says G reminds her of when you order a gin and tonic, but they accidentally gave you soda water and gin. Abrupt and needs a chaser. Swish, swish, bish. See, even when Chelsea's not feeling great, she's still on it. Ginger note. Oh, okay. No, I don't think you're wrong. Remember, there is no right or wrong. If you smell it, it's there. Spicy, yeah, definitely spicy with fennel seeds. Definitely agree with that. It's a curry shower. Yeah, I can see the curry vibe. A lot of people talked about that, Selena, and I totally agree. There is a curry vibe. And I think that's probably coming from some of the spices that are in there. And some of the herbal notes. I don't think it's like an Immortelle thing. So Immortelle is a material everlasting flower that has like a strongly maple syrup vibe to it. But if you use it in heavy amounts, it can go a bit powdery, not powdery, a bit curry-like. I don't think that's in here because you can smell it a mile off. For me, it's more like anise, spice, and herbs that are doing it. Okay, so I'm going to talk about this one a bit. G is interesting because it does much more of a dry, dirty, and butch thing than the other Fougeres have done in the box. I think all of them have been quite well preened and pampered. To me, it feels more natural, but it captures this idea of a scorched landscape. It's also quite butch as well. It reminds me of some of the more classic, spicy Fougeres out there. Well, I guess you could say sheep Fougere. Anyway, another thought. But, you know, more classic spicy Fougeres are masculine, such as Aramis. But it's not Aramis. Kind of like an Aramis vibe, but it's not. Perfumer boxes would be interesting. It would be. to see if they have a signature or style. Yeah, I think some of them definitely do. I think Quentin Bish is one who doesn't have a particular style. He just does very interesting things. So what do I smell? I get pine needles, a forest warmed by the sun, the hairy chest of a handsome Italian man. That's never a bad thing to be smelling. Hot spices, a twist of anise, warm woods. It's kind of like scorched cypress branches, jagged edges and rough texture, and an underlying animalic warmth to it. George is saying G is like a modern take of A. Yeah, I think there's, because A had the roughness, didn't it, to it? That kind of, that's quite heavy on the kind of patchouli vibe, I think. And it has that kind of herbal roughness, I agree. And this is kind of that, but more modern, more woody. I totally see that, George. We're working on this in the background. Let us know which ones you'd like to see. Says Chelsea. Ari, the perfume box is. Rebecca says Christmas but sexy. Rebecca, what is a sexy Christmas? I'd like to hear your thoughts. So, okay. I see Mr. Burberry in there. It's not Mr. Burberry. It was curry, then soap, lavender, then soap. Oh, it really went all over the place there, didn't it? Okay. Ready for the reveal? This one is from Acqua di Parma. It is part of their Blue Mediterranean collection, which is inspired by Italian sort of locations and materials. And this one is Cipresso di Toscana. And you can only say it in an Italian accent, otherwise it sounds weird. So Cipresso di Toscana. This came out in 2005. It was created by perfumer Bertrand Duchefort. It is £73.80 for a 75ml eau de toilette. It was actually discontinued for a while and recently relaunched. I can't comment on whether there are significant formula changes in this one. I wasn't too familiar with the original when it launched. I like the more robust, dare I say, harsh take on the Fougere here. Feels more inspired by nature. And when we go back to what was the kind of inspiration for the Fougere, it was the idea of fern. And here you have a fern, but it's a much more scorched and dry fern. This actually also really interesting, contains lavandin rather than lavender. Both are from the same family, which is the mint family, just FYI, but they have a different odour profile. So lavandin is more strong and herbal as opposed to sweet and floral. So I think that's why you get that drier, more herbaceous kind of take on the Fougere here. It is quite sexy, I think. If it was a place, where would it be? It doesn't have to be in Italy. There you go. I think it's really interesting because we think of the Blue Mediterranean collection as being quite fresh because you've got, you know, that beautiful bergamot in there. You've got that wonderful fig, the Fico di Amalfi, which is really kind of juicy green fig, a little bit milky. And this one's very, very dry, very butch. Masculine. It's a bit more pharmaceutical looking is the bottle, says Anna. Gavin says Brick Lane. Selena says the bin. Nepal, interesting. Daniela says it's more Scandinavian more than Italy. Interesting. What made you think Scandinavia? That's intriguing. Is it more of the foresty vibe, do you think? Swiss Alps. Susie says Croatia. Standing on the shore with wild fennel. Interesting. Morocco. Blackpool back streets at 4 a.m. I'm not going to ask. I've never been there at 4 a.m. I've never been there ever. The Myrto is lovely, actually, Laura agreed. A truck stop in the Arizona desert, says Pat. I've never been to one. Forest, says Mia, more of the Alps. Wuthering Heights. Okay, Ellie, you get a box because that's a Kate Bush reference. I'm sorry, I don't make the rules. I do actually make the rules, and I make them up, and I don't stick to them. But have a box for a Kate Bush reference. We're going to have so many Kate Bush references now. Oh my god, what have I done? I've just made this so much better. Centre Parks After Dark. I actually live very close to a Centre Parks. I've never been because it's like 6 miles from my house. Why would I go? But I do live near a Centre Parks. Susie's singing Wuthering Heights now. Yeah, absolutely. It's not Kate Bush's best song, I'll be honest. But it's a good song. There you go. I think this is a really interesting fragrance. There you go. We're going to move on to our last fragrance of the evening, which is fragrance H. Shall we give it a spritz? Don't fancy running up that hill to get there. Well done, Anna. But I may only reward one Kate Bush reference per live. Right, let's do H. Oh, there we go. I think a lot of people kind of knew this one. I think people were familiar with it. Hester says Jelly Babies. Not a bad thing. I'm totally here for Jelly Babies. I picked H because I thought it would be fun to end the Fougere box with a feminine fragrance. To dispel this myth that Fougeres are just for men. Yes, traditionally it's more of a masculine genre, but it's not exclusively so. And I think if we look at many of the fragrances in the box, a lot of them can be worn by women. Le Mal, Prada Amber Pour Homme, Explorer, Reverie de Bergamot, Le Mal Parfum, and also H. I think it can absolutely be worn by women. This one is a Fougere actually marketed specifically for women, but that said, I think it's easily worn by men. I wear it quite regularly. It's one of those, if I don't know what to wear, I'll just throw on fragrances because I think it's really, really beautiful. Hester mentioned Jelly Babies, and I think that's interesting because I also find it quite juicy in the opening. It's fresh fruits, but they're almost not in full colour for me. There's a transparency there that makes them feel a little bit washed out, almost as they've been like watered down, maybe with orange blossom water. There's some waxy white flowers, succulent, refreshing orange blossom, aromatic side to it, delicate lavender, more sweet than herbal, creamy waxy vanilla, and the velvety feel of white musks. Amy says it's delicious. Laura says it intrigued her. Tiger Lily says the best layers of marshmallow and leathery old sofas. Ooh, beautiful description. Sue says like making a nest in ferns and filling it with soft downy feathers. Michelle says elegant. There was a lush and a creamy. I can't see who said that, but it was Pat. Larissa says I don't think you're ready for this jelly. Are we not, Larissa? I think we might be ready. Might be ready for this jelly. Marzipan, bit of Cabotin by Gress. Oh, I haven't smelled that in ages, Aline. That's a blast from the past. Okay, so what is this feminine fougere that we speak of? Well, it is Libra by YSL. This came out in 2019, was created by Carlos Benaim and Anne Filippo. It is £47.60 for a 30ml eau de parfum. This is an absolutely massive bottle. I think this is like a 150ml or 200ml bottle, I think. Maybe 150ml. It's huge. Beautiful bottle as well. I love like YSL brooch. The savvy amongst you will know that we did Libra Intense in the Solar Box. Very, very, very different from this. So I think this is a really fantastic fougere. Now the central core of lavender is there. The citrus top note is also there. Usually it's bergamot, but in this case it's mandarin. But the sparkling fresh effect remains the same. Coumarin is replaced by vanilla to make something a bit more warm and creamy, whilst jasmine replaces that typical rose or geranium note as the floral note. So there's a more tropical white floral vibe. But the real twist here is that injection of orange blossom and petitgrain, which kind of adds this sharp honeyed quality, and it kind of contrasts all that smoothness and rubs up against it. It kind of creates this tension. I imagine it as a smart YSL suit for women. So there's perfectly soft fabric, but that's cut with like razor precision to give it a perfectly sharp edge and an impeccable fit. YSL is a fantastic brand. They've created some of the most iconic fragrances in the world. You know, Opium, Paris, Rive Gauche, Jazz, Koros, M7, I could go on. But it's really been a long time since they've wowed me. But this was the first YSL fragrance in a long time that really made me kind of go, ooh, what is that? I think it's beautifully done and a really cool take on the fougere. This is the EDP, by the way. I think it's worth noting that there is also an Eau de Toilette and the Eau de Parfum Intense, which we did in the Solar Box, which I think the Eau de Parfum Intense it's no way near a fougere. It's much more a vanilla, solar, warm fragrance. I just think it's really, really beautifully done and a lovely bottle. And this bottle is absolutely huge. It's almost as big as my head. And I have a big head. That's what 6 Jasmine Awards will do to you. Carol's taken 8 out of the box and handed the others to her husband. Fair enough. I mean, he'll be happy with that. Larissa needs to buy Libra as well as Libra Intense now. Quite a heavy scent, Tiger Lily says. Yeah, I think it's got good lasting power. Steve says, I didn't like that when I had a sample, yet I loved it this time. It's fascinating, isn't it? Sometimes, though, I think your tastes change. Sometimes you can just appreciate things depending on your mood. I think it really depends. It's always good to revisit stuff unless you really hate it. Lots of people said Libra, actually, in the group. I did see that. So, if fragrance H was a type of clothing, what would it be? Do tell me. I'm intrigued. Whilst you're thinking of that, I will do a quick recap of everything. So fragrance E was the really kind of interesting fresh take on a fougere. This is Reverie de Bergamot by Miller Harris. This one is £85 for a 50ml EDP, and this was more about creating a really refreshing, cool green fougere that's very modern, very genderless, that feels calm. It's like a lazy Sunday morning. Yes, you can quote me, Anna. It is always good to revisit stuff, and yes, they really hate it. Yeah, you can put that on my tombstone. Libra is velvety, Kirsten, I agree. Then we went to F, which was, I think, the surprise of the box, maybe. Because actually, Le Mal was quite a surprise to a lot of the ladies in the group because they weren't as familiar with it as the boys would be. I did have a couple of guys I know that do the box DM me on Instagram going, B is Le Mal, and I can't believe nobody's guessed it yet. And I was like, well, I think it's, if that is the case, it is possibly because it's not a fragrance that they are so familiar with wearing. But I think a lot of the ladies in the group thought that actually that's something they'd wear. And I think this is probably the same. So this is a powdery, more gourmand, warmer version of Le Mal, and a really nice fougere because of it. And it is £48 for a 75ml Eau de Parfum Intense. And these come up into sizes of 200ml. So, just think how big his butt is going to be in a 200ml bottle. It's too much to handle. Then G was much more of an aromatic, woody, spicy, dry, scorched version, more herbal version of a fougere. It feels very natural to me because of that. I feel much more I'm getting much of a more of a fougere scene as it was, and that's the Blue Mediterraneo Cipresso di Toscana by Acqua di Parma. I just like saying that. And that's £73.80 for 75ml. And then we finished on our beautiful Libra Eau de Parfum by YSL, which is £47.60 for a 30ml EDP, which is a feminine fougere with kind of lots of twists. It's taken a lot of artistic liberties and artistic license with the fougere, but it certainly has the signature and the DNA in there. Really good fragrance, though. Lisa gave her way to her brother last year because she loves F. Gavin likes Le Mal, wears Le Mal, and didn't get it. I'm just disappointed, Gavin. I've missed a lot of comments because I've been talking, so I'm just going to go back up. V is a cashmere cardigan, velvet hat, little black dress, a long black tulle skirt, fitted jackets with massive 80s shoulder pads, warm and nothing underneath. That's a look, Sean. I like that. Tuxedo jacket worn over a gauzy night dress with wellies. I love that. Velvet jumpsuit. Brilliant. It's all right, Gavin. I've forgiven you already. Right. That then brings us to an end, guys. So, last few bits then, I guess. October's box is new launches, and that goes off sale, I believe, tomorrow. Chelsea, please correct me if I'm wrong. It said the 4th on the website. I don't know if that means it goes off sale tonight or if it goes off sale tomorrow. But we're in the last moments of that box. That will ship on the... I've got 2 boxes left to give away. Okay. People say stuff and I'll just pick. So tomorrow at 9 AM is when the box goes off sale. So you can buy it now up until 9 AM tomorrow. And it'll be shipping on the 8th of October, and we'll be doing live 1 on the 14th and live 2 on the 28th. I've got 1 box left. Okay. I'm going to scroll back through a comment, and if I can find one that I think is good, let's go back. I'm going to pick, okay, I'll tell you what, I'm going to be democratic. I'm going to pick from the people who said things about the type of clothing for fragrance H. So we've got white cashmere jumper. Wait, I know what it was. I think it was Sean. Sean, last box goes to you with your fitted jacket with massive 80s shoulder pads, worn with nothing underneath. I think that's a really cool description. Sean, you get a box, DM Escentual, etc., etc. Okay. And October's box features the best newness, absolutely. Really excited about that one. Lovely mixture of mainstream and niche. I think I can say that, Chelsea. Too late if I can't, because I have done, but I won't tell you much more than that. Have a lovely rest of your Sunday. Please don't be too depressed that it's Monday tomorrow. And I will see you all very, very soon. Thanks a lot, guys.